you have a lot of experience, being the first round pick,
Mhm.
Super Bowl champion, and then having, a long playing career, and then also, dealing with a lot of different situations that can arise, being a pro player, being targeted, fraud, things of that nature, so there are players out there that will listen to you. And what would you say, or any type of advice, doesn't have to be real estate, money, anything like that. What advice would you give someone that, because obviously right now we're in the process of, the combine is this week. Then there's going to be obviously the draft, the NBA draft. So as a seasoned, NFL vet, what advice would you give someone who's going to be going pro soon? Any life advice?
Uh, Life comes fast, man. It comes fast, and the situation is we feel that I can't speak for everyone, but I would like to say we feel that we'll be young forever. We feel as if we can, you have like players who, without pumping names, I know we all know who I'm talking about, like the Vegas player who was driving drunk that night and killed that woman and the dog and so on, between multiple situations that's going on where, life can be gone like that. So understanding that it's enjoying the moment. It's enjoying the moment. It's not living for the moment. It's literally enjoying the moment, but not living for the moment. Understand that that moment is going to pass. So in this situation, when I went into the NFL, I can't tell you, like I said, without making this a religious thing, I can't tell you, but I knew that my career wasn't going to finish without me being a Super Bowl winner. I just felt that. I just felt based off the hard work that I was putting in, my commitment to the game and so on. I don't care about you don't make a Pro Bowl, you don't get recognition from fans and different stuff like that. I just knew and felt in my heart that I was a champion. And I knew that the NFL, from the time that I've learned about the NFL, meant not for long. I can't get up right now and go, walking around listen, if I was to go do something with my son right now, I'm hurt for like a week and a half after. And I could get in my stance and take off 5 times. And my body will feel like I got hit by a car for the next 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's enjoying the moment, really focusing on the legacy. We're in a world now, and I'm not attacking this younger generation. We're in a world of instant gratification. We're in a world of, just fun. What we're doing to have fun and everything else and so on, and not thinking, like when I played, I wanted to make sure my kids was okay. I wanted to make sure that I never went back to the hood and have to live there. Because as men, we have a lot of pressure right now. If if I don't make it, I'm the failed NFL player. Even though I'm done with ball right now, and I've been done for 10 years now. If I lose everything or whatever, and you have people praying on that, if I lose everything right now, I knew he'll be back. He's back in the hood. He's this, he's doing that. Oh, I knew he was going to mess up. I knew it was this, and so on. So it becomes about cherishing the moment, living in the moment, uh, but knowing that the moment's going to pass. So work hard, have a big plan, have a plan, like we don't, everyone can think about it, just so we could be clear. If we go into college right now in terms of football, we can't go in right now, play 1 year and turn pro. You have to put in work for at least 3 years. So if you go pro, why would you be thinking just about that 1 year? Think about who you're going to develop into over the next 5 years. Think about what your plan will be if you get cut. And then it's a lot of stuff it's a lot of stuff that they don't tell us. Like think about this. Pride gets in the way. Like something that I will say right now that no one ever tells. Do you know that every NFL player, when the off season comes, every NFL player can apply for unemployment? You know
No,
that?
that I didn't know.
Like think about it. We only get paid during the season.
True.
You get what I'm saying? So if we only get paid from September to December, I don't care what that dollar amount is. in the off season, as an NFL player, you think I'm going to go down for public assistance and government food stamps or different stuff? You think I'm gonna put in for unemployment or anything like that? For example, in college, summertime and everything else and so on. Even as a student, we're able to apply for food stamps and different stuff and so on.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, we good. We recording. We good. Yeah,
We're good.
but those are the things that I've learned outside of ball. Once ball was over, you get what I'm saying. So it's kind of like, why would I want to why don't we know that? You know what I'm saying? Because here's what the thing is. Imagine, watch this go. Like I said, and saying cherish certain things. Imagine me sitting over there playing for the Rams. The doctors tell the coaches that I have cardiomyopathy, and no one ever tells me. And then I leave and I continue my career and I finish winning the Super Bowl and everything else and so on. And then I go, I'm a free agent, but my heart goes into AFib. So imagine that. Now watch. Now fast forward years later, 10 years later that I've been retired. I could sit on the phone with you and talk to you, but no one would know I had over 11 heart surgeries already before I was 40 years old. No one would know I had an ablation done on my heart. You get what I'm saying? And then people will ask, like, oh, I don't see Jimmy around. I don't see this and so on and so on. This doesn't happen, everything else and so on. So like I said, what happens? It goes like that. And it all be because of the game. You get what I'm saying? It'd be because of the game. But then, you start looking into things, you start saying, wow, hold up. You guys knew this since then? No one said anything to me? How do I feel? You understand what I'm saying? So as I keep saying, it just becomes enjoy the stuff now because, man, if I would have known that, like I said, I don't want to jump around, but look at the Tua situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the Tua situation. Like, it's not just about now. It's not just about now. What's going to happen? You think they really paying money right now for CTE? You got 3 concussions in one season. You get what I'm saying? Like think about it so we could be clear.
And I think that plays into why a lot of guys are retiring a lot earlier. You got guys leaving in their peak.
Think about that. You got Hamlin, the one who passed out and had his heart stop. He's not a vested player. What is he going to do? He doesn't qualify for his pension. Right. You get what I'm saying? He's not vested. Right. He's not even 3 years in. He doesn't qualify. And then you got to play in the NFL for at least 3 years to become a vested player and everything else and so on. Who's going to cover his medical and everything else and so on? That's for the rest of his life. Oh, that's right. So I don't know too much about his background and everything else so on. So I don't know if he has his college degree. I don't know what the situation is. Oh, by the way, you don't understand. Like, I could be sitting over here with you right now, and if my heart starts pumping a certain way and everything else so on, I got to chill. I got to adjust my bed. I got to lay down. I got to do certain things. I take, carvedazole and different stuff and so on that old people take. There's Eliquis and stuff like that, blood thinners and so on, wear compression socks for my legs and different stuff and so on. Like, it becomes this whole thing that's bigger than this, that's bigger than life. So it's really not just about. Now, with that being said, I'm not just speaking in terms of illnesses and stuff like that. I'm speaking in terms of the moment being gone when you least expect it. Right. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the moment being gone when you least expect it. We've all witnessed watching this player, whether you've seen it live or whether you see it on recording, fall out after making a tackle and had to be revived on the field, had to fight for his life in the hospital and everything else and so on. I thank God that he pulled through and so on. But here's what I'm saying. In 5 years, what complications would he have to deal with? In 10 years, what complications would he have to deal with? Oh, by the way, guess what? He's in his 20s right now with a heart condition. Can we guarantee you that this man is going to get to his 70s? Can we guarantee you that he's going to be able to build a family? You get what I'm saying? Can we guarantee you that, we don't know what stress would do on his heart? And I'm not saying it, like I said, I'm not making it about religion or race. But the stress that you have to do now, like, watch how this go. Like, oh yeah, we can say, oh, he could write a book now, he can do this, he could talk about this and everything else, and so on and so on. But he still got to work, and he still got to earn a living, and so on. Can he not be stressed out? Can he not have certain things and so on? I can tell you this right now. I could talk even after ablations and everything else and so on. If I go a certain amount of time, I could feel myself get lightheaded and everything else and so on. So how will he handle those situations when you're not yourself, when you're not feeling like it's just a lot to go through, and we do it for the sake of cash. We do it for the sake of of our livelihood and so on. We do it in terms of injuries and that we are willing to to deal with just to play the game. Like, oh, Jimmy, he's educated and everything else and so on. Like, wait, like, look at how this go. I got this hand that's right here like this, but I'm right hand dominant. But look, all my fingers the same length. You get what I'm saying? Oh, that's right, because I broke my hand. I got a plate, two pins in here and everything else and so on. You get what I'm saying? So look, my dominant hand, look, I can't do certain things with. Oh, so none of that plays a part. Not the knee surgery, not broken jaw, being wired down for 8 weeks. I got a plate and 5 screws in my thumb, so on. You can see the huge gash and so on. It ain't coming out. I got a screw on my fifth metatarsal on my foot and everything else and so on. It's raining right now. I feel every bit and so on. And I'm never going to be under 300 pounds, 6'5". I'm never going to be under 300 pounds.
I'm gonna be honest. I speak to a lot of players that say that they have lingering injuries well after their playing days.
Oh, man.
And in actually, speaking and kind of transitioning earlier, we touched upon NILs.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that affects the college landscape? We're talking about money and players actually now having opportunities to make money in college. How do you think that will affect the college players and the sports landscape going forward?
Is obviously there's pros and cons with everything. I think the pros of it is everyone's not going to make it pro. And a lot of people sustain injuries and so on while being in college and will never turn pro. So, for example, if we was having this same discussion about Hamlin in college and he actually passed out on the field, or like our boy Adam Taliaferro, who was paralyzed and so on, think about his medical bills and different stuff and so on, and what he has to deal with for the rest of his life. If this, I don't agree with this person get millions and different stuff and so on, but I think something should be in place to help these athletes, especially if they go into regular life in the regular work world, not become a professional athlete. You understand? So it starts being like, yo, what if I'm in college and I tear my ACL a couple of times or whatever the case would be, or I don't get the chance to go pro because I'm injury prone or whatever the case would be and so on. Who helps me in my everyday life after? You understand? So that plays a part. So there's a pro if there's some kind of fund in place and so on, and it could be an age thing. Like, hey, you know what? We're gonna put 25,000 in this account. It can't get touched to this age. You can add to it and so on. Kind of like a life insurance situation or a medical insurance thing or so on. You can't take it out unless you submit medical bills or something along those lines and so on. So I think that can be a pro if it's something like that. The cons is I think it makes the athletes I can't say here's what it is. I think what ends up happening is it lowers our graduation rates. We're giving these athletes money, and like I said, I know I made Penn State millions, and I didn't see no millions. You know what I'm saying? I think I made enough for my son to earn the full scholarship. Like, let's go. You understand? So from my position, it's kind of like in terms of ticket sales, in terms of TV, in terms of the money that comes in, obviously jersey sales and stuff like that. When I was there, we didn't see any of that. You understand? And then now I feel that there was people paying players and different stuff and so on. And right now it's just more in the forefront of saying, hey, and so on, because everyone's not getting paid. Everyone's not going to get an X amount of dollars. But as I say, what's happening to these kids? Because the players who earn the NIL money, the high dollar NIL money is usually leaving going pro early, which means that they're getting this money to go to college, to get there, to use college as a platform for whatever amount of times that they can do, and then turning around and now turning pro to have a long or short, in most situations, short career. And they don't have the education, they don't have anything to fall back on. So was that extra, let's just say $1 million that you got when you were 17, 18 years old, was it worth it? Like, was it worth it? Was it worth it when you could have went to Stanford and so on and got your college degree and so on, and you're going to make $1 million, or Harvard, or Yale, or Penn State? You understand what I'm saying? Was it worth it in terms of you going in there and you actually meeting people and so on? Like, this is Penn State family that we have, so Wicked wasn't on the football team. You understand? But you understand, we still on the phone together and different stuff and so on, because, it still becomes a Penn State family. You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
obviously, and I'm speaking just on Penn State, but if I was in and out, what's the situation? You get what I'm saying? Like, and here's what the situation is. Like I keep saying, I say this, obviously it's not my position to speak on anyone else's child or so on. But for me, I think it benefits Bronny James to actually go to college. For me, if it's up to me, I understand playing with your dad and what it could look like and everything else and so on and so on. But for me, dad is a billionaire. When dad passed or a situation goes down, I still got to keep the legacy going. So why would I not go to college and learn everything that I could learn and everything else and so on, instead of just jumping to the pros and adding to the money, but not adding here to keep it going and so on, because eventually it's going to stop. Eventually someone's not going to draft a James kid. Like, imagine this same situation. Okay, Bronny goes, whatever the case may be, and so on. Like, I got it. So what, we gonna wait for his kid to come for him to go? What are we gonna do? Like, okay, so I guess next is gonna be Bryce. And then next, like I said, it's not me knocking and so on, but I love it. I love that they're doing it. I love James. I think they're awesome people and everything else and so on. But I'm just speaking in terms of, when does it stop? Because I didn't play football because I wanted my son to play football, because I want his son to play football and so on. I played football because it was the only way that I could afford to get out of college. To go to college. And literally, when I was in the middle of Yonkers in the hood, my high school coach was like, "You're a big kid. You should be on my football field." And I was like, "Man, I ain't playing no football." And he was like, "This is your ticket out the hood." And the next day I was playing football. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't understand. I didn't know any better. So kids just have to, young people, they just have to understand that. So I think the NIL is hurting, because it's hurting, but it's also helping. It's hurting, but I don't see why, like there's a certain way to do it. Like, so for example, if I'm in college and I'm like, why we can't do it like a salary wage? Why we can't do it, if I'm a starter, I can get X amount of dollars?
Right.
Why we can't do it? Oh, I'm a starter, I did this and so on and so on. Why we can't do it in terms of workout bonuses and everything else and so on? Why we can't do it in terms of different stuff? So, like, for example, just simple. What if I was making $2,000 a game or so on because I'm a starter? What's second and third string? Now I don't want it to create competition to where someone start doing some crazy stuff. Let me hurt the guy in front of me and everything else and so on. But I think it's going to promote competition and everything else, right?
Maybe, but I think that maybe the pushback may be in regards to that is, like, the bigger programs can pay. If they do a salary structure, a lot of the bigger programs, the Penn States, the Alabamas, the Georgias, they can pay their starting players a certain amount, the second strings a certain amount. But if you're a smaller program, even though they're both in the Big Ten, who generates more money, Penn State or Rutgers? Now, Rutgers, even though they're still in the Big Ten, can Rutgers pay their players what Penn State or Ohio State or Michigan?
Yes, because
pay their players.
Yes, because here's what the thing is: Big Ten, SEC, everything else, and so on. Instead of paying NIL millions of dollars, here's this and so on and so on. Create a budget, create a pot to pay X amount of people what you need to pay them. You get what I'm saying? So now it's a Big Ten situation. It's a so on, so on. But then now you don't want, hey, if I go to the Big Ten, I get $5,000 a game as a starter. Versus if I go to the SEC or so on, I only get $3,500 or so on, so on. So keep it even through college football. So don't make it where this situation, because it's the same thing that you just said, but watch how this go. Who has the most money to pay NILs? Is it the Ohio States, the Penn States, the Rutgers, or the Marylands? You understand what I'm saying? It's still the same thing. Listen, Maryland doesn't have X amount of million to get the number one quarterback in the nation right now.
That's definitely the case, man. But I definitely appreciate you taking the time. I'm looking at the clock, and Grizz, we go way back, and I appreciate you taking the time, man. I knew you had a lot of knowledge. I'm like, let me touch base with you, because I know that you could impart, just being drafted high, playing the league, winning the chip, and also, being close to my heart, being in real estate, understanding that aspect too, I think is just important for people out there, especially the young guys, to hear someone like yourself speak. And, I definitely appreciate you taking the time.
Anytime, man. I appreciate you.